Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO, getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY on the daily time frame. So we finally got a break of the lows here. I was looking for one down in here, possibly down to that 100 fib. So we have broken the lows here now, which is good. H4, there still is a chance we get another one down here. If I just zoom in a bit. So we may get, like, we have like 1, 2, 3. We may get a wave 4 in here and a wave 5 down. We may get a bear hidden in here as well. So if we get a bear hidden in here after we get 3 up, well, then you could look for a 5th wave down, and then I'd be looking for long-term buys. At this stage, there is no sell on it, and, I mean, you have to be careful with the buys too, because, like I just said, we may get a bear hidden in here, and we get some sort of a choppy wave in here up to the trend line and before it falls over. AU. So I was looking for this A, B, C. We finally got that now. It's up to that 100 fib, like we were looking for. On the H4, I'm looking for a wave 5 now. We've got to bounce clean off this 161.8 here. So we've got to like a 1, 2, 3. We get a wave 4 and then trade a wave 5 up. Very similar to DXY. They're all very similar. So we pretty much just have to wait for this time factor here now. I just put a time factor up there. So I'll be looking for a time factor around this size before we look for buys for that 5th wave. GU, I was sort of hoping we'd get a flat in here and we'd like get one down in here. So we get like an A, B, C with a flat in the middle. Like an A, B, C, sorry, before we get an A, B, C. But this one did keep on going, so it still can be an expanding flat here, and we still get a C down before we go. And that's what I'm sort of still looking at. H4 is really telling a different story. It's very much bullish to me. We did have 5 up here, and we lost all the divergence. So I'm pretty much just waiting for a larger correction and more upside. Ideally, this does come down for that wave C on the daily and give me that flat, but I'm not convinced it will now. I'm thinking we'll get a larger correction in here and then more upside. So there is 2 alternatives here, but yeah, we'll just have to wait to see what correction we get in here or what sort of a setup we get before we can really do anything on it. EU, we already got to the 100 fib with that A, B, C. We got to that 100 fib and we got another one above it. I mean, all this here may be a flat too. Like, we get another one down in here before we get more upside. I'd be very careful with this one because we do have a lot of bearish divergence here on the daily. And, this 100 fib is seeing a lot of resistance. It did break through, price did break through it, but, it's come straight back down. On the H4, it's very similar to the others. I'm looking for a possible wave 5 up. We get like 1, 2, 3, get a wave 4, and then we could trade a wave 5 up. I'm pretty much just waiting to see what correction we get. and that could take, a couple of weeks. You got to be very careful here. I mean, you could look for a sell, like some sort of an A, B, C here. If you got some sort of a flat, you could try a sell, but you're selling into a correction. You got to be careful selling into a correction as well. I mean, the safest way is, if I go back to the H4 quickly, the safest way is to wait for a correction of similar size to this one uh, over here, and then trade that wave 5 up once you get a complete correction. But yeah, this was a very large correction here. So we'll see what we get here. Again, there's really not much to do. You're either on the trades or you're not at this stage. NU, very similar as well to the others. I was looking for this A, B, C here. We're nearly up to that 100 fib. And this may turn motive here, like get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to this 100 fib here. So there is still plenty of room in this. But on the H4, it's very similar to the others. I'm looking at getting a wave 4 and then trading a wave 5 up. So again, it's going to be a time factor here before we can look for buys. GY, I mean, nothing's changed. I'm looking at that WXY, looking for an X2, and then we trade a wave Z up before we get that A, B, C, and then more upside. So I am looking to sell, looking for sell setups. But you got to be mindful that more than likely it'll just be a correction, maybe similar to this correction down here in X1. Definitely can look for a sell here. We got a nice impulse down from the top, and this is looking rather choppy. So if you do get a sell set up, you definitely can look for at least 3 down, like an A, B, C. Yeah, definitely can look for a sell here, though. This is one of the better setups that are out here at the moment. Like H1, we got a nice impulse down. This is looking very corrective here. So if you get any sell set up, you can look for a sell for at least an A, B, C, and more than likely you'll get 5 down, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. UY, it's internally we got like a 1, 2, 3. I'm looking for a wave 4 and a possible wave 5 up here to finish off this B wave. This like A, B, and then we get a C down before it turns more complex, like I've got with these arrows here. But you could look for a sell here too, but you got to be very careful. This also on the H4, this may be the end of the wave 3 here, and this is a flat, an A, a B, and a C, and we got a flat in here after the 5 up. So if you were looking for a buy, I'd be sort of looking at UY, and if I'm looking for a sell, I'd be looking for GY this coming week. Just see if there was a buy on this, but you're either on this or not. But there was a buy in here. We had 3 down in here, and it was sort of got like 1, 2, 3. Now you may get a 4th and a 5th in here. You may be able to trade that the 5th wave up, or you wait for a larger correction after the 5th wave up and look for a buy. UCAD played out like I was looking for. I was looking for that WXY X2 and a Z down here. We got the Z down. It broke all the lows like I was looking for. So now, it's really going down to the lower time frames, waiting for all this to be over, this wave Z, and then we can start to look for buys. H4, we were looking for the 5th wave down, and we got that. We got these 5 down here we were looking at. It's done that now. So there's 2 scenarios. It either really takes off here, or what I'm sort of thinking is we'll get a larger correction in here, and then a possible another 5 down. Even though this is a wave Z on the daily, I can't really go into too much why I think we may get like a larger correction and more down. But yeah, I think this is very plausible here that we do get a larger correction now and more downside. You definitely could look for a buy on this now because we do have those 5 down on the H4. Have to be a little bit careful at this stage. We do have a possible bear hidden in here. But if you got a correction in here, you could definitely look for 3 up. It may or may not go and break that top. If it breaks this top here, well, that'll take out the bear hidden, and then you'll more than likely get 5 up. So you definitely could look for, go down onto the lower time frames, wait for a correction in here, and look for at least 3 up. You got to be quite careful when we get this correction. You got to be at break even at the break of this top, because with that possible bear hidden there, price action may come break that top and then fall over on you. So you definitely want to be at break even at the break of the top. The Swissy. So I've been saying this for a long time, and it's finally happened. I was looking for that A, B, C. In here, this was looking very bearish, and it has come down and it's bounced off that 100 fib now. So we're there. We're at that 100 fib. I am looking for buys, but I've got to wait until what's happening on the lower time frames. And on the lower time frames, this is very complex. In here, very hard to get what sort of correction this is. But we may get a bear hidden in here, so we may get a choppy wave in here and then another one down yet. And more than likely, that's what I think we'll get. So we pretty much have to wait for a correction in here and then look for the final sell and then, long-term buy, You could look for buys too. I mean, you've missed it though. If you were looking for the buy, well, we had an impulse up here, which was quite risky because on the lower time frame there was a bear hidden here too. But we had an impulse up here, 3 down, and there was even a little flag here to get in. So you're either in this or you're not at this stage for the buy. And you'll have to wait. It's a time factor for the sell, for that possible bear hidden. But yeah, yeah, pretty like I said, you're either on this or you're not now. It's already gone, so it's broken the top here too. So you're at break even already if you're on it. So there's really not much you can do if you're not on it already. EG, we got that leading. I'm looking at that as a leading diagonal, 5 up, then an a B, and we get a C down in here, and then if we get a buy set up, we can look for another 5, like 5, 3, 5. Nothing's really changed. H4, we're starting to get that wave 5 down we've been looking at. And yeah, I wouldn't be looking to sell at this particular time. It's just about already breaking the end of wave 3. So it's not the time to sell. I would be waiting for this wave 5, and then if we got a bullish setup, then I'd be looking for the buy. Pretty much just waiting for this now. And of course the low to be broken. I really hope this low does get broken in that wave 5, or it's going to be very difficult to trade if it doesn't. WTI, it's starting to take off. I've been looking at 2 scenarios here. If you've been following me, I've been looking at an A, a B, and a C. So we either get this C up, because like I mentioned, this wave C down in here did come down and break that low a few weeks ago now. So that was great. But then on the H4, there was a couple of scenarios. We either get this larger C up, or we get like an A, a B, and a C up in here. And it gave us that as well. Before we get more downside, well, it didn't fall over. It's kept on going. So this I'd be looking at as the end. And so, yeah, if we get any bullish setups, definitely can look to buy. Gold. I've been saying pretty much keep out of this, unless you're just buying, scalp buying at the top here. Now we got a big move down, but we got the 5 up here on the daily. Oh, what's going on with my internet? So now we have, you can see here that it's really fallen down here. We have to be very careful here, even on the H4. I mean, we've got a wave 5 up on the daily, but got to be very careful here, because we more than likely will get a bull hidden. It's very difficult. Well, it's risky to sell until this low is broken. So really what we need to see here, we got a nice impulse down from the top. So if we get a correction like this, well, then we can sell. You got to be break even at break of this low. Like I said, we may get a bull hidden in here, and it may just come down and break this low here, and then take off and go and break the top again with that bull hidden. That's sort of the first scenario. Wait for a sell setup, but this could be complicated too, because if we go down onto the lower time frames, there's a few different things that could happen here. It could give us a buy setup, could give us an impulse up here, a correction, and then a bullish setup, and then you get your sell setup. So we really got to wait to see what sort of setup we're getting. What sort of correction we're getting. Are we going to get a bullish setup like this, or are we going to get a bearish setup? So yeah, pretty much just waiting to see what sort of correction we get here on the lower time frames, and trade accordingly. Keeping in mind that if you're buying, you need 3 down before you can really look for the buy with that bull hidden. So yeah. I mean, this was only a matter of time before it really fell over. This isn't. Silver is very similar to gold. We got to. I've been saying for a long time, I'm waiting for this B wave. I'm waiting for a B wave in here, and we got the A wave. I'm looking for this B wave, and then we can buy again. Longer term, until that happens, you're pretty much scalping into this B wave. Just go back to the H4. Sorry, it's very similar to gold H4. We're getting a bull hidden here. So until these lows here are broken, it's very risky to sell. Very similar to gold. So, there's two scenarios. We either get a correction here and comes down, just breaks that low and goes up with the ball hidden and breaks the top, or you may get like a buy set up, an impulse up and a correction, and you could look for at least 3 up in here. More than likely it may turn quite complex, because that's what I'm sort of looking at least 3 down, like an A, B, C here. So yeah, again, be patient with these corrections because they do take time, and we'll see what we get in here on the lower time frames. I mean, at this stage, there's not much on the H1 either. It's more of a sell. On the H1, it's more of a sell. We got nice impulse down. If we get a correction in here, well, then we can look for at least 3 down. So we're just waiting for this correction, and then we can trade it like gold, very similar to gold. Bitcoin. So this was looking very corrective here, and it's just about come down, broken the low. So that's fine. We're looking for that. We did get the 5 up in here. We're getting this larger correction, but this one didn't take off here. Well, if you go back through my videos, on on YouTube, I've pretty much been looking at this impulse here, and we get a correction and more downside. But there is a chance, like I've been showing in the group, that this is we got the 5 up and there's a larger flat here. But even still, this was looking very much bearish, so pretty much looking for that sell there, and then if we get a buy, then we can look for a buy for this flat, possible flat. More than likely it'll turn expanding if this low here gets broken. Well, it will be expanding if this low over here gets broken. So ideally now this comes down, breaks the low, and then we get a bullish setup on the lower time frames, and that'll be that'll be a good opportunity to get into a buy. You got to wait for this to wave to finish, on the lower time frames, etc., and then we can start to look for a buy. But first things first, we need this low here to be broken, and it hasn't quite broken that yet. But after this low is broken, go down to the lower time frames, look for bullish divergence and a bullish setup, and then I'd be looking to buy. S&P 500, right? Well, this is, sorry, I am on the weekly. So we got 5 up on the weekly, and it's hit our second target here on the 161.8 in that wave 5. Like I've shown before, but hey, the daily we're getting a lot of bullish divergence here. I'm just waiting for this. Be very careful with the buys. It's like gold and silver. It's only a matter of time before this falls over. Getting a lot of bearish divergence on the H4, so be very careful buying. And there's really not a sell set up yet. That's the problem. Yeah, it's still. I mean, this can still go either way. It can be, 1, 2, 3, 4, get a 5th wave up in here before it falls over. Or it does like give us 3 up in here, like 1, 2, 3 up in here, and then look for a sell. I mean, I'm more interested in sells. I'm not interested in buys right up the top of the market. If you get a sell set up, you definitely could look for a sell. AU 200. I was looking at this flat here to go and break the top. It hasn't broken the top. So ideally it does, or else this is going to be, well, this is going to be more of a sell. I mean, this is quite choppy here, it's very choppy, so you got to be very careful with the buy to go and break the tops. Yeah, we possibly could get a sell here at any time. There's no sell yet, but like for the sell, like we got the bearish divergence here. I need a break of this low and then get a correction, and then I can look for a sell. Until you get a break of that low, it's very risky to sell, because this can keep on going up. You know, give you a bull hidden in here and go up and break the top, and then give you another bull hidden and go up and break the top again. So, you know, it hasn't given a sell yet, and I'm pretty much just waiting for a sell. It's similar to S&P 500. I'm just waiting for a sell setup, and then I can look for a sell. Till that happens, pretty much stay out of it, because I don't really like buying at the top of the market. It's way too risky. You can see I was looking for a flat here, like on the FTSE A, B, and I was hoping for a flat in here so we could get more upside, similar to what happened on AU 200. But so this has kept on going. See, I was looking for this B. It's gone way past, the 161.8. So I don't really look at it as a B wave anymore. It's gone too far, so I'll just remove that. But either way, just looking at price action, you don't really need counts on your chart. As long as you can read the price action, that's pretty much all you need to trade. Full stop. The counts and Elliott waves and all that does help. It definitely does help. But I teach that you can just trade off of price action, and you can see this here. It's very choppy, so we're looking for a sell. As soon as we get a sell set up, we can look for a sell. It's not giving us a sell though. It's more of a buy at this stage. Looking at the H1, like we had 3 down in here, and then it's gone up, given an impulse up in here. So this top may get broken here. I don't think it's ready to sell just yet. If we get another high here, and then it falls over and gives us a nice impulse down, a correction, well then, this is what I'm looking for. Nice sell, a nice correction to sell, and a sell set up, and I'll look to sell it. Lastly, the DAX. This one's already, pretty much played out. This was one of the early ones. We did have that bull hidden in here. So we were actually looking for that to go and break the top at this top here, and it did that. And then it's given that like A, B, C here, and then an A, B, C, completing the correction. And then we've got this A, B, C. This wave in here still may not be over yet. There's nothing to say that this wave here is over, but it's very risky to buy. Overall, we do have a bearish divergence there. H4, like I just said, you got to be very careful with selling this. We do have a bull hidden here, and we have 3 down. So this, you may get a buy. Not that I'd really be buying it right up the top of the market, but you may get a buy, just scalping to go up and break the top. On the lower time frames, you may get some little buy set up in here, get it to break even, and see how far it goes. I mean, there's a couple of scenarios here. This may be the top, and this is some sort of a B in here, a flat, and then you get like an A, B, C, and then you get more downside. So at this stage, I'd be looking at the lower time frames to look for a buy, and if it's just a C up like this, well then you get out, and then you look for a sell. But yeah, other than that, there is that possibility that this bull hidden plays out and goes up and breaks the top. So I hope you got something out of this weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.